Welcome to Other Perspectives. I'm Nancy Kaplan. My guests tonight are Ann Arbor's #1 investigative news team, the Ann Arbor Newshawks. 3 men hoping to make a difference. 3 men bringing you the back page stories that should be the headlines. And as masters of disguise, they move about undetected between the town and gown social circles. Let's meet this intrepid team. Chance Langford, born and raised in Ann Arbor, well-versed on the financial underbelly in our town. Beaumont Vivant. He feels odd about revealing his place of birth or his origin, a reporter with his latex fingers on the pulse of Ann Arbor's sports and education. And beret wearer, Jacques Labatt. Born and raised in Ann Arbor, our inside source about all political matters because he's been there. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
So, yeah, you're welcome. So, how did the Newshawks get started, Beaumont?
Nancy, it's no coincidence that when the Ann Arbor News closed its doors, that was the same time the birth of the Ann Arbor Newshawks occurred. I must say that the 3 longtime friends are, one of us is a little right of center, one's a little left of center, one's a little off center. We felt that this gigantic journalistic void when the Ann Arbor News shuttered its doors, this veritable chasm of no news, was a time for us to become part of the Ann Arbor community. We've always subscribed to the theory that Ann Arbor is located about halfway between the Huron River and reality. And with that in mind, we knew that we could get our fingers dirty getting to the stories that were on the back pages that should be on the front headlines of our papers.
Okay. And so what about your ideas? How do you come up with your ideas? Chance?
Well, City Council provides us with what we call a lot of low-hanging fruit, and that's our primary source for ideas.
Okay. And of the stories that you've covered, which are your favorites?
Well, one of my favorites was the pet chicken kit. This came about a couple of years ago after City Council passed the ordinance allowing pet chicken ownership, and we produced a pet chicken kit for those that were new to pet ownership. It really had everything in it. It had a fertilized egg, heat lamp, a nest, and then as the chicken would grow, it included a leash so you could walk around the neighborhood with your pet chicken. And if you wanted to let the chicken run free, we did have a map to the free-range chicken park on the north side of town. And it really included just about everything. And in fact, if at some point you felt that chicken ownership was no longer for you, the kit also had a great recipe for chicken cacciatore.
And a frying pan. I think a frying pan came with that.
Frying pan?
Yep.
That's right, I forgot that part.
My favorite was a story we did in the Ann Arbor News. We got on this story when the paper was rumored to be closing and shutting its doors and going online, and it was, when we got a hold of the story, it was probably the size of, say, a Parade magazine, so it had shrunk quite a bit. The paper announced it was closing for sure after that. There was such an outcry. The News tried everything. More revisions, got smaller and smaller and smaller. We wanted to save it if we possibly could, so we did an ad for it.
This is actually a copy of what the Ann Arbor News new edition was. It's downsized, very compact. Used a lot of hyphens, actually, because it was quite narrow. But it did have the 4 sections in it, and actually on the back there was a good half column here in case there was any national or world news. It would go right here on the back page, right between the Sudoku and the Beetle Bailey.
You know, one of my favorites, Nancy, was the story of the discontinuing fall leaf pickup that occurred in our town. And one of our favorite pet peeves is this idea of how institutions spin information. So the city sent out this flyer to all of its citizens, and the flyer did not say, "We're in a budget crisis. We need your help, citizens of Ann Arbor. You'll be inconvenienced, but we're here to work for you." No, instead the city tried to put a positive spin on the issue. So the flyer read, "Ann Arbor's leaf management program is transitioning to weekly curbside collection because the street leaf collection program is not satisfying to all Ann Arbor citizens. I love the word satisfying in leaf collections.
They were right, though. It was not satisfying.
It wasn't sad. So by the end of the flyer, you're saying, hey, the city of Ann Arbor is helping me by my discontinuing my leaf pickup. Anyway, we worked out a plan with the city to do a PSA, a public service announcement, that pointed out the obvious dangers of raking leaves into the street. And, for example, bike accidents, citizens running into the piles of leaves, falling over, or car fires, burning leaves, cars parking over the burning leaves. And I think we all know someone who has probably died from a leaf-related car accident.
We all do.
Several.
We all do. And then from there, we did explain that as part of the leaf management system with the curbside pickup, it really was necessary to kind of get a jump on those leaves, because if you waited till October, November, you were going to overwhelm the bin that they gave you. So what we did is encourage people to get up in the trees early on in the summer, start picking out those bad leaves, the ones with bird poop or the dirty, ripped leaves. And if you got up there on a weekly basis and pulled down, say, 20,000 leaves, you could fill your bin, get it out to the curb, and get a jump on the system. And in some cases, you would have bare trees, and it would only be the end of August.
Okay.
So that far ahead of the game.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's very good. So I want us to have time to look at one of your episodes. Want to give us a little introduction before we take a look at your episode?
Well, I would say this episode was about 6 months ago, and it came after the success of the Big Chill at Michigan Stadium. So this episode incorporates a couple of new ideas that came out of the success and how the city could deal with its budget crisis and the university with minor sport.
Okay.
Town gown thing.
Okay.
Town
So
gown.
let's take a look.
Ann Arbor's #1 investigative news team, the Ann Arbor Newshawks, are on the air. I'm Chance Langford.
And I'm Beaumont Vivant. In our first story tonight, after successfully selling out Michigan Stadium for the Big Chill, the U of M has a new plan, and we've gotten a copy of the promotional video that will be out next month.
Michigan fans, the U of M recently shattered all hockey attendance records by having 104,000 people in Michigan Stadium for the Big Chill. To keep the momentum going, Michigan is proud to announce that in February, you can be part of another 100,000 plus fans watching the U of M's first outdoor men's swim meet. Yes, it's the Big House hosting the Big Drip. Michigan and Northwestern going head-to-head in an 8-lane inflatable pool built just for this event. You'll be able to tell your kids that you were part of 100,000 screaming fans that shattered swimming's previous attendance record of 692. Come see the swimmers in their retro uniforms, sure to break world records in the 36-degree water. You'll be on the edge of your seat watching to see if the platform divers land in water or onto a frozen layer of ice. Who will be the first to get their tongue stuck on the edge of the pool? Plus, you'll hear the swim pep band as they lead the fans in their off-color cheers about major shrinkage. All this and more at the Big Drip, coming in February.
In our next story, the city of Ann Arbor is honoring its mayor, John Heifja, for his program Commitment to Progress by renaming the Stadium Boulevard Bridge in his name. The dedication ceremony was temporarily delayed when the section of the bridge holding the new brass nameplate gave way. After a safety check, the event quickly concluded with a photocopy of the plaque being officially duct-taped to the bridge.
Next, a special Newshawk investigation. We have uncovered a fraudulent request for speed bumps submitted to the city by the Willowwood Neighborhood Association. Here are Ann Arbor Police taking into custody Niall Ferguson, president of the Neighborhood Association. It is alleged that Willowbrook asked that the speed bumps be put in because cars were racing through the neighborhood, causing a major safety concern for the children. It later turned out that this request was a complete fraud, and that the association was merely using the high-priority safety issue as a disguised method for getting the potholes covered over. Let's go out to Jacques Labatt, who's with Niall Ferguson. Mr. Ferguson has asked that we alter his appearance.
Thank you, Chance. First off, Mr. Ferguson, is there something you'd like to say to your fellow citizens?
I feel so dirty. I don't know what came over me. This is not the face of someone who would deceive you.
How did this scheme get started?
What can I say? Our neighborhood streets haven't seen any type of repair in years. They were so rutted with potholes, it was difficult just to get around. Cars could only move at a snail's pace. We were desperate.
And now, after the speed bumps have gone in?
I'm ashamed to admit it, but we accomplished our goal. Putting speed bumps on the street has more than doubled the speed in our neighborhood. Oh, it's not perfect, but the speed bumps have definitely smoothed out the driving in our subdivision compared to what it was before.
A postscript. Since the Newshawks have broken this story, 11 neighborhood groups have withdrawn their requests for speed bumps. Back to you.
In a written statement, City Road Repair official Phil Crevice, commenting on the Willowbrook incident, said, "Looking back on it, we should have been more diligent in analyzing the neighborhood's plan. Specifically, in a 2-block stretch, they were asking for 47 speed bumps, some only 18 inches apart. That should have been a tip-off." Recently, City Council held a 2-day retreat to brainstorm ideas for dealing with Ann Arbor's financial crisis. After finding that there was no support for making any budget cuts, Council was finally able to come up with the following solution. We are proud to announce that on March 7th, the City of Ann Arbor will host another first-of-the-kind event at the Big House, the first outdoor City Council meeting. I know you're saying, this is an event I don't want to miss. Well, actually, it's an event you can't miss, because attendance is required for every Ann Arbor resident, unless you have a letter from your doctor. That's because we need everyone in town buying a $50 ticket, so the stadium will be full of 113,000 citizens cheering as Ann Arbor eliminates the big deficit. And we'd like to make it a standing room only crowd by getting some of you 70,000 commuters who come from out of town into Ann Arbor, use our services, and don't pay diddly squat. So come on down, and just by joining with us, you'll be part of balancing the 2011 budget. And we'll have fun doing it. There'll be prizes and contests galore. For example, bring your Christmas tree with you, and the first 75 people will have their tree disposed of by the city, free of charge. Watch the giant scoreboard screen and win prizes by texting your answers to questions like, name a South American city that is not a sister city of Ann Arbor's, and win Hungry Howie's for your row. Or, win a free Pepsi if you can name all the silent consonants in our mayor's name. And many more. And keep following the scoreboard screen during the council meeting to follow the personal text messages between council members. There will be a special flyover by a plane coming right from Ann Arbor Airport. Watch Republicans being passed up the stands. Follow your favorite in the running of the Pet Chicken 100-yard dash. There'll be something for everyone. And well with pride when the announcer says, "Thank you for being part of the largest crowd anywhere in America today watching a city council meeting." Most importantly, you'll be able to participate directly in our municipal democratic system by voting on 3 issues that our city council just can't seem to resolve. Number 1, what should we do with the library lot once the underground garage is completed? A, build a convention center. B, put a skating rink on it. Or C, pave it for another surface parking lot. Text your vote. Number 2, what to do with the Huron Hills Golf Course? A, lease it to a private company for a combination golf range, sporting goods store, men's club, and disco. B, put a skating rink on it. Or C, pave it for another surface parking lot. Text your vote. And 3, how many medical marijuana dispensaries should the city allow? A, none. B, 2. C, 1 for every person over the age of 21. Don't bother texting. This will be done on a voice vote. The City Council meeting will end with its customary public commentary segment. A single-hand microphone will be passed around the stadium so that every citizen will be able to voice their complaints and offer up suggestions. Everyone speaking for their full 2 minutes will take weeks, making this one of the longest City Council meetings ever, and you will be part of it. The Big Deficit, March 7th. It will be fun, it will be educational, and it will be mandatory. See you there. Good night, Beaumont.
Good night, Chance.
See you next time.